Hello and welcome to the Network Professor, a series of podcasts hosted by me, Glyn Jones, Product Manager at Hughes Europe. Hello and welcome to Series 2 of Podcasts in Brief, brought to you by me, Glyn Jones, Product Manager at Hughes Europe. When you leave your house in the morning, what's the last thing you do? Of course, presuming that you are the last one to leave, you lock the door behind you and maybe set the alarm if you have one. It's unlikely that you would have gone around the whole house, locking every internal door and locking all your valuables away before you leave the house. Though if you do take this approach, I am intrigued as what you keep at home. Basically, if someone has the means to get through your front door, then you trust that they are allowed in your house and can have free access to anywhere once they're in. Now let's consider the same scenario, but you live in a shared house and you don't yet know everyone who lives there. Would you now just rely on locking the front door when you go out? Or would you also now lock the areas you don't want someone to get into? We have now gone from a trusted environment to a non-trusted or zero trust environment. Let's take this environment, which we're all familiar with, and look at it in the context of a network environment. Network security must be a fundamental consideration for any businesses engaged in online activity. If you're managing a distributed enterprise, security in your communication and data sharing is even more vital. Traditional methods such as VPNs, virtual private networks, have their place, but with the increasing remote work and cloud services, accompanied by a sharp rise in cyber threats, we need to be more proactive in protecting our online activity. This is where Zero Trust Network Access, ZTNA, comes in. Today, we'll take a closer look at Zero Trust Network Access, breaking down what it is and its benefits in protecting your network beyond traditional VPNs. We'll also share best practices when it comes to implementing ZTNA within your business. Let's start with breaking down what Zero Trust Network Access is. It's a solution that has recently gained a lot of traction due to the increased concern over cybersecurity and the need to offer more robust protection from our online operations. ZTNA comes from the approach of Zero Trust, a simple yet powerful model that states you should never trust, always verify. Every request is assumed to be a breach and requires verifying as if it has come from an uncontrolled network. It doesn't matter if it's your CEO logging in from home or your apprentice accessing an application at a local coffee shop. Every single connection is treated with suspicion. By extending this approach throughout your operations, you can protect user accounts, applications, data and devices. Zooming in on Zero Trust Network Access specifically, this term describes the strategies for creating that barrier around your network applications and allowing secure, verified-only access. When businesses are more distributed than ever and remote users are logging in from a wide variety of different locations, ZTNA is designed to keep your network and its information safe. You'll find ZTNA as a component of SASE, Secure Access Service Edge, a network architecture model that provides optimized performance using technology such as SD-WAN alongside enhanced security for networks and their users. The technology behind Zero Trust Network Access works to provide access to only specific online applications or resources that your users need without allowing them to see or work on just anything across your network. If we go back to the analogy at the start of this podcast, and we now think of your network like your house, traditional security measures like VPNs and firewalls are at the front door, so when they let you in, you can freely wander around throughout the whole house. ZTNA stands at the door to every room in the house, stopping you to check your identity before allowing you in. Why should we use ZTNA over VPNs though? A virtual private network, VPN, is a secure tunnel that encrypts your personal data and masks your IP by routing your connection through a remote server provided by the VPN service. With a VPN, your online activity is kept private and more secure. However, VPNs and firewalls offer limited layers of protection, and if compromised, they can expose the entire network to risk. Unlike ZTNA's, VPNs use a trust-based model, meaning if a hacker gains authentication, they'll have broad access across your network, making the consequences of such an attack much more widespread. With Zero Trust Network Access, access is more specific and tightly controlled. It carefully monitors not only your user's identity, but also the device they're using and its security, their time and location. If one device or application becomes compromised, the risk can be contained and the impact of the breach is reduced. Moreover, ZTNA usually includes continuous monitoring and verification. Instead of unlimited access once you're logged in, it implements ongoing authentication of your users and their devices. Another key component of ZTNA is its use of secure, outgoing-only connections. This protocol means that your users can initiate connections to applications, but the ports are not left open for incoming connections to expose IP addresses and network infrastructure. Your network becomes invisible and unreachable to unauthorized users, minimizing the chances of attack. ZTNA can also help to reduce network congestion and improves performance compared to traditional VPNs. With a VPN, all your traffic goes through a centralized VPN gateway, which can cause bottlenecks. As ZTNA requires each of your users to connect directly to the applications they need in isolation, network traffic is more spread out. Now that we've looked at ZTNA and its benefits and given you something to think about, so how do we implement it? While every organization and network will be different, there are several fundamental best practices you can follow to get started. Firstly, identify the attack surface. Before jumping into adopting new security approaches, you need to evaluate your existing infrastructure to identify the attack surface, i.e. where unauthorized users are most likely to access your system. Look at all the possible points across your applications and assets, from your sensitive data to your physical assets like IoT devices or point of sale terminals, to understand which areas are the most valuable and which require the highest level of security. Then you need to review how your applications and systems interact. We need to look at and understand how traffic flows across your network, such as where access is gained to databases, gaining sensitive information. This process will also help you identify the best places to apply security measures to shield those valuable assets without disrupting overall performance. Once we've done this, we can then start designing the framework. Using the knowledge gained from steps 1 and 2, you can start designing your Zero Trust Network Access Framework. Unfortunately, there's no out-of-the-box solution, as every network has different needs. However, key considerations include network segmentation and multi-factor authentication to verify users and to protect your critical systems. Having a framework isn't any good though without developing your Zero Trust policies. An established method for creating your Zero Trust policies is the Kipling method. Ask who, what, when, where, why, and how for each access request to ensure that access is granted based on your determined strict criteria, minimizing security risks. Once you have created your framework and policies, ZTNA is not something you just implement, then it's done. Your online activity will evolve, as will the cyber threats that target your network. Therefore, continuous monitoring is essential. Use regular reporting, analytics and logs to provide visibility into your network activity so you can be proactive in protecting it and responding to potential threats. Zero Trust Network Access frameworks can be complex, requiring careful planning, network assessment and continuous monitoring. If this all sounds rather daunting, it's worth considering partnering with a managed network service provider that specializes in network security. With our in-depth expertise in network security, we can tailor strategies to meet your business's specific needs, ensuring that your critical assets are protected without compromising performance. We'll make the whole process seamless and efficient, handling everything from the design and implementation of your ZTNA to the continuous monitoring of your network. We also provide real-time insights into your network activity to quickly identify and mitigate potential threats. The needs of network security are ever-changing, as the threats to your network are always evolving. With ZTNA, you're adding additional levels of access control to reduce the attack surface and at least making it harder for someone to get in. It's like having your own personal security guard behind your locked front door, checking who is coming into your house, and then, if they're allowed in, escorting them just to the places they're allowed to go. The next podcast, Why Network Optimization is Critical for Business Success, will be out next Thursday. Do subscribe or follow me on your podcast platform of choice to be notified when it comes out. Thank you for listening and do enjoy the rest of your day.